everybody. As like an afterthought, we did a top 10 best of. We suffer through a lot of shit every year. The horror genre is notorious for putting out bad movies as well. Don't think we don't see you guys. So we figured, why not do a bottom 10 too? Why the hell not? I'm John Moritz, Abby Brooks, and Aaron Brooks. And how are you two feeling for this listing of films?
I mean, I guess feeling okay. I don't think we've ever done any video like this before. So I'm excited to talk about the smelliest movies of the year.
Man, get that Aaron Rants button ready, folks, because this is my comfort zone. As much as I love to love movies, I love to shit on the ones that deserve to be shit on. And some of these ones that are on my list are going to upset people, and that's okay. I promise it's not to upset you. It's because they upset me.
I was upset by some of them, and I'm here. I'm sitting here.
Right. I understand.
So let's just rip the Band-Aid off because the dishonorable mentions, we had, it's funny, for such a wide spray of movies, we had a lot that were in common. So whereas in the best movies of the year, we had 5 each, now the spread is a little thinner. So there's only 4 each because that's all the spillover we had. So we'll start with Abby's dishonorable mentions. Talk about the last 3 movies on this list.
Well, I'll start with the first one. I mean, the first movie is probably the one on my list that will probably upset the most people. We were very clear when we talked about this movie that we really didn't like Alien Romulus. I was excited for it. I was not going into this movie expecting to not like it, especially because we had the great prequel movie, The First Omen, which we've talked about in our best honorable mentions. This is the movie that did like everything that I was like afraid of. I'm not connected to the Alien franchise either, but I was really excited for Fede Alvarez and he disappointed me. So this was a very disappointing movie. It's not my most disappointing movie. That's on the actual list, but that's Alien Romulus for me. I'm not going to say that much about that because I know people really like that movie. Stream is a smaller movie that came out this year. I don't know, I forget who directed it, but I know Damien Leone is involved with it, I think somehow, and David Howard Thornton is in it, and like so many people in like the horror world are in this movie. And when I heard that, I was like, whoa, like all of these people are going to be in this movie. It's going to be violent like Terrifier. This is going to be awesome. And it wasn't that awesome.
Michael Levy directed it, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. One of Tony Todd's final movies.
Yes. Which when I saw his name on the list, I was like, whoa, that's awesome. And like, I guess spoilers, I don't think anybody cares about Stream. He's in like 2 minutes in the end of the movie. And that's what they did with like some other big names that are on the list, which really pissed me off. They just put them in the very end of the movie, and then they're expecting a sequel, which we'll probably never get because Tony Todd's not here. Not to blame him, but
thank him.
Yeah,
I think I've never seen a movie, and I've seen a lot of movies that so confidently is like there's a fucking sequel coming. Then straight.
Right.
This is a bad pattern in horror, especially.
They set it up so hard for a sequel, and like maybe they'll get one because people like David Howard Thornton, like he's really hot right now, so like maybe they'll do a sequel, but I don't know. I don't really need to see one. So that's Stream. And then Out of Darkness was a movie that we saw like in the beginning of the year. It was one of those like secret movies that we went to go see, and I'm pretty sure I fell asleep for like not a good amount of this movie, but I fell asleep during this movie. It looks really good, but it's just, thinking about it more, it's just so boring. And the look of the movie is really the main good thing going for it. I really don't remember much else. I think they had some type of message at the end.
They created their own language for the movie. That's
another positive. I did forget about that. That is a positive, and that's very impressive. But the movie is very boring, and I don't like it. So that's why this is on my honorable mentions. And then The Exorcism. I do believe that you can have fun with this movie because the two of them, when we went to see the movie, were giggling the entire time. You can certainly have fun with this movie, but I was not having as much fun. I don't know. I couldn't really get into it. I think it maybe had some promise, but I think Russell Crowe should just stop doing exorcism movies for the time being.
Abby, you should sit in front of us next time. It's a much better experience. That being said, move on to Aaron's dishonorable mentions for the year of 2024. Go ahead.
Yeah. First up, Daddy's Head. This one simply is on the list because I have a very high patience for slow burn and for generational trauma movies, especially ones related to fathers dying. I do when it's done well. When it's not done well, and when the characters are so annoying, and they also don't show the creature, and when they do, there seems promise, but they hardly show it. Like there's just nothing. This movie is just a nothing burger. Unfortunately, it's got a great premise that it's just not completed because it's horrible characters, and just I didn't have a good time at all with this movie. So Daddy's Head.
I put Smile 3 on there. I'm sorry. That movie.
No, it's okay.
It'll probably still
be on my list. Smile 3 will be on my list next year, but don't worry, we'll get to that. And yeah, Daddy's Head just beat out Terrifier 3. Terrifier 3, you almost made it. You just came short. So congratulations. Daddy's Head was boring. So it's more than I can say about anything else for that movie. What You Wish For. I watched that today, and it was on the Horrorville Top 50. I have a few movies on my worst of list that's on the top 50 of Horrorville. So I don't know what they're really smoking over there, but maybe I can borrow some for my rewatch of Notorious. But What You Wish For, it has such a great premise to it, with like a gambling addict who is a chef who takes like this shady job with this agency called The Agency. And unfortunately, it's not the menu. It's not fresh. It's those movies at home in a very, and it, as it goes, it gets worse and worse. And the character decisions and the plot holes that it caused me to start yelling at the screen, which I don't usually do in a movie. But Nick Stahl, underrated. So there's that. But the rest of the movie, get rid of it. Smile 2 was very high on my list. These Smile fans are out of control. Like seriously, like I think that this movie is extremely shallow like the first one. I don't think it does anything too different, just more. There's like a part where like the group was chasing her and I wanted them to jazz snap. Like it was just like I was just
that would have been crazy good.
Yeah, and the only thing I can say good is that they forced out this social media post about the practical effects. So good job, practical effects. Those are good. The rest of the movie is very, very mid at best. So yeah, I don't know what everybody's seeing in it. And Alien Romulus. Oh boy, cue that rant, please. Alien Romulus. There is so much I have to say to you. I've said it in our review. I had such a bad time with this movie. Video game ass plot. Like literally, I felt like each scene should open with like checkpoint 2 of 3. Would you like to save? Like, and then just go in. All of the characters are one note. Like we had so much brain and thought put into the David trilogy or the 2 David movies of Prometheus and Covenant. I loved both of those. I thought Covenant was a perfect blend of a kind of a classic alien movie with the deep kind of philosophical existential rants that a lot of people are complaining about. I thought that it was the perfect combination, Covenant. So I'm really confused why we didn't get our Finish the David trilogy and we had to go back to just dumb, remember this, remember that, remember this, remember that. Get away from her. You bitch. Like, are you kidding me? This movie was pure shit. And the fact that so many people were ranting about this movie, it just really confused me. I mean, Kaylee Spaney was there. I don't remember her character's name. I remember she had comfy clothes in space, so that's good. I'm glad she had her, that's an homage to Sigourney Weaver in her underwear. I get it. Whatever. Like, this movie is just a bunch of bullshit.
Fair enough. Mewtwo's in it. Anyway,
right, from Resurrection. That was from Resurrection. Already happened.
My dishonorable mentions, a little more conventional. The Mousetrap, which is our Steamboat Willie entered the public domain. If you didn't know, if you don't know what's entering the public domain, just watch your VOD horror releases. You'll know what things you can make horror movies about. So we got our not Mickey Mouse, but the Steamboat Willie incarnation of Mickey Mouse horror movie, the first one of at least 2 or 3 that are coming out. The Mousetrap, which is probably the most vanilla Canadian movie I've seen in a long time. It is painfully Canadian to the point that like half the characters have hockey jerseys on. And unfortunately, I do a show on this channel where I see a lot of shitty movies, so some of them have leaked into my dishonorable mentions. Dinosaur Hotel 3, the third part of the Dinosaur Hotel trilogy. Actually, the best Dinosaur Hotel movie of the 3, but still not a good movie, and bad enough to make my dishonorable mentions. It is, what can I say? It's a hotel, and there's dinosaurs in it.
Jesus.
Bloodline Killer is the latest horror person who we appreciate embarrassing themselves. In this case, Shawnee Smith gets to embarrass herself by being in a shit movie. After hot on the tail of being in Saw X, she puts herself in Bloodline Killer, which is like, what if Michael Myers had a sister that loved him a lot and kind of enabled him to be Michael Myers? That's basically Bloodline Killer, and it also sucks. And she doesn't play the sister. She plays like the Laurie Strode character. Taryn Manning from Orange is the New Black plays the enabling sister. And she's also punching way below her weight in this movie. And it sucks. And then Shockwaves 2 is another versus movie, which is basically, if you've seen Shockwaves, which I guarantee you haven't, they take about 20 minutes of Shockwaves and then build a movie, Shockwaves 2, around it. Kind of like a really shitty version of 24. If you remember 24 from back
I remember 24.
And it also, and if you don't know, Shockwaves 2 also is horrible. Tune into Versus for more in-depth stuff on that. But let's get into our main list. We have a 5-way tie for 7. So technically we're going to cover 11 movies. And technically this movie is a 2023 release, but I think nobody even started watching it until 2024, and Aaron hates it. So let me knock this down and we'll play it again.
Your finger's going to get tired by the end of this. Oh my God. So this is hard with Lovely, Dark, and Deep, because I've called it like 20 different names, like Dark, Deep, and Dangerous, Evil, Dark, and Wondrous. Like, I don't ever remember the name of this. I hardly remember this movie. I do remember that this movie was so good, I forgot to log it till 2 days later on Letterboxd. So that's how good, like, I watched it and forgot it was. Yeah, movie had absolutely nothing for me. So my rant will be nice and short here. This is like such a nothing burger of a movie. I could never imagine recommending this to anybody. I don't think this movie has a fan, like a big fan. If you're out there, please comment and I will send you a personal letter begging you for help.
I think the biggest thing about this movie for me was like, it's kind of like what was Georgina Campbell's like follow-up to Barbarian. And it is like, it is not Barbarian in any metric. It doesn't even smell the town next to Barbarian. It is bad.
Yeah, I just don't know what the motivation was to make this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the setting of this movie. If I could say a positive, I didn't like this movie. I liked the setting of it being in the national parks, and like I wanted to see more of that and like more, I don't know, like maybe folklore or something. I honestly forget a lot of the stuff that happened in this movie too. I remember nothing happens in the end, which is really disappointing because I wanted to see, like, I was kind of excited to watch this and cover this movie because I wanted to see a cool park ranger, national park kind of movie, but it didn't do anything.
There's plenty of other great park movies, and if you absolutely need a movie where a park ranger is a main character, In a Violent Nature also came out this year. Check that out. There's a park ranger in that movie. Moving right along, and I'll just cover this one because I mean I'm probably only one of 5 people that have seen it. The only movie I covered on Versus that's going to crack the list is Crocodile Swarm, and that's just virtue of like me flipping a coin and putting this or Shockwaves 2 on the list. Crocodile Swarm is The Descent if you swapped out the creatures that are cool from The Descent with shitty CGI crocodiles and put nobody that can act in the movie.
No.
Then you'd have Crocodile Swarm, which is basically it's The Descent with crocodiles, and they got access to some kind of cave, I guess, in England, and they filmed them there. These fucking English movies, these English rush to budget shit movies are shit. But I'm gonna watch them all. So keep making them, I guess. We'll skip ahead. We've all seen this movie, and we all love it. Abby, you could start.
Yeah, so I wanted to lump this and a couple of other movies together because I feel like a lot of them are we have the same feelings about them. This one, I do think that there was good ideas here. And there was good things sprinkled in, for example, like some of the designs of like the card beings coming to life, that kind of thing. I think that was kind of cool to see. But otherwise, this is just another, I thought it was a Blumhouse movie for a really long time. It's not, or at least when I saw the trailer, but it feels like one. There's terrible teenage characters, like there's just weird plot holes. There's the one in particular I remember is the one with Ned from Spider-Man. I forget, like he maybe died but didn't in the end or something. I don't know.
Star.
Yeah, he has to come back, but I don't know. I don't need to see another Tarot movie. A good idea, but I don't think it was executed very well.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback right on that. Like they set up the movie that like you bought into this horse shit, you die. And there's no escape to it. Like you can't escape. Like whatever card you drew, that thing is gonna come kill you. And like they're like killing everybody, like hopelessly. And then his character is like a sitting duck in an elevator, but he lives. Like he should have died hard. But it's like I really can't stand it when a shitty movie violates its own rules. Like the least you could do is have honor. Tarot does not have honor.
Yeah. No, I agree. The rules don't matter. It's like whose line is it anyways, where the points don't matter, but the rules don't matter here. Tarot screwed it up right from the beginning. This movie was originally called Horror Scope. What are we doing? Tarot Horror Scope was right there. It was right there. Way better title right off the bat. I have a feeling, this is my hot take of the episode maybe, I think that Tarot 2 is going to be a huge improvement on Tarot because one of the things that's so annoying about Tarot is there is the bones of a good movie in there. They just built it on shit. So it's just, we got to wash those bones clean, rebuild it with actual body parts, I guess this time, and, tissue and muscle and, skin and put it all together. And I think we might have a decent second Tarot where a lot of people are like, oh, this one did it right, unlike the first. So maybe an Annabelle Comes Home situation. And that might be me being over hopeful. Ned was, not great in this movie as representing the stoner archetype as well. I did not care for how he portrayed the stoner in this movie. I thought it was disrespectful. So.
Yeah, I think they should do the Hostel 2 opening where they just kill Jacob Batalon's character. They just decapitate him in the first 90 seconds of the movie. That would be great. Start with that, build from there.
Yep. There we go. But 2 has a chance. I want to see one more shot at this.
No, I could
want to see one more shot at this.
And as far as movies that kind of blend together in like there's so many movies that like are just like kind of like laughably shit at this point. So let's just go right down the list. Here's another one.
Right.
I'll start. Like again, there was a lot to like here. They just didn't recognize that there was anything to like because they did not make a good movie with the likable stuff. You have like David Dastmalchian's in here, John Cho's in here, and a couple other really good actors
or whatever.
What was that?
Ricky Landhorn or whatever.
Ricky Lindhorn is in this movie, or Lindholm, as like minor character. There's a lot of a lot of passable people doing good things, but this has been done better. I think like the Child's Play reboot did this better.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, among other movies, like
yes,
I don't know. And then the creepy AI is just creepy AI. Like I can turn on my computer and see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I pretty much agree here. Like it's just like all the actors were too good for this material, but they didn't elevate it. So it's just like what is John Cho doing here? like, what? Why is he here? Why David Dastmalchian? And I think he had like a feeder tube going into his stomach at one point in the movie, or
he
something.
was like biohacking. He was
right,
biohacking.
yeah. And that was like, I was like, oh, okay, like, but they just mention it. They don't like go into. There's like, oh, by the way, I'm a biohacker. Anyways, like, back to Siri. Like, and yeah, this is Child's Play remake. Really underappreciated. I feel like overhated and just shouldn't have been called something else, and would have maybe it should have been called Afraid, and then we'd be liking the movie a little more, because Child's Play, I feel like, did all the themes of this movie just better in 2 years ago.
Yeah, and then we'll move right on to a movie that has like
Abby.
Oh, sorry, Abby. I'm sorry. Did you get that?
No, it's okay. I mean, I agree with everything that was said, honestly. Like, this and Tarot are probably like the two that, like, they're bad, but I'm like, okay, like, they're the least of the bad. Again, because this one did have great people in it. I mean, again, just like the plot was really weird too. Like, I didn't really get who the overall like bad. I'm trying to remember the movie, but like I remember there's people like waiting outside the house in like a creepy white van, and then weird computer people. I don't know. It was very weird, and just I didn't care for it.
There's also like no stakes to Afraid. Like the bad guy wins.
Yeah.
In a spoiler, like Ava wins, but like she gets to make their lives better. Like, oh no, what a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay. Moving on to second verse, same as the first. This movie has like this movie has 5 good minutes in it, I think. Like when they go to the imaginary world.
Yes.
I think we said this in our review.
Yes, we did.
If the whole movie was like that 10 minutes plus more Betty Buckley, 5-star movie, maybe lurking here.
Chance.
But no, there isn't. Because they do everything else. Dad's a rock star that like fucks off like 12 minutes into the movie. So steps he's the biological dad. She's the stepmom. But she's a very good children's book author / illustrator. I guess. Who cares? Like this whole movie is like a who gives a fuck movie.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah, I agree. It really is. If you're going to watch this movie, watch it for the end. Because it really is the best part. And if this movie was more of that, I think it would be maybe more on the level of like Afraid or Tarot, maybe a little bit better. But yeah, no, I don't think anybody should waste their time with this movie. Otherwise, it's really just, this is like a very Blumhouse movie.
Yeah, no, pretty much agree. I think this is a very worthy tie for 7th. I think all these movies are on the exact same level of, they're harmless but they're also bad, and that's almost sometimes more annoying than a harmful bad movie. It's so bad it's bad. Like this is just like, I can't even remember anything about this movie. Like it's just like forgettable. So yeah, skip it.
The next movie we're going to talk about, it was my worst movie of the year by far. It is objectively probably the worst movie that came out in 2024, but I don't think anybody has seen it, and I think that's a good thing. Because this isn't even a movie you could like enjoy in like a so bad it's good. Plus, let's just get right into it. I should throw up my own rant for it.
Yeah,
Lumina.
You can
like I'm already towing the line of actual danger talking about this movie, because the director of this movie is an unhinged fucking psychopath named Gino McCoy, who will go online and make fake accounts and like try to take down people who criticize his movie because he made a shit movie, and it's objectively shitty. But he doubled down and said he was trying to make a shitty movie. And then he doubled down and said everybody's racist because he's black. So like, and it continues spiraling down from there. So he's obviously mentally ill, and this is just his mental illness put on the screen like a Vincent Van Gogh painting.
What's it about?
I wish I could tell you. It's it's aliens like there's a dude and he's rich and he's having a party, and then aliens come and abduct a girl who's just hanging out of this house. And then him and his ragtag group of friends go on a mission to like rescue her from the aliens. And Eric Roberts is there too.
Eric Roberts is in every band.
But he is also in every movie. That's right.
Yes,
that is probably the best I'm going to do describing it. And then put on the absolute worst, like late 90s video toaster special effects you could throw onto a movie and say there's a director, but have nobody have any direction, is Lumina. It is. And it's like over 2 hours long too. It's like you suffer. Like you fucking suffer. in this movie. It is like you can't watch this movie on 2-3 times speed. You'll still suffer. Like it's I don't even recommend you watch it to like get the merit badge. Like just fucking avoid this movie.
We won't.
Yeah.
We'll take your word for it.
Like, yeah, don't do it, everybody. I'm not.
Why is it called Lumina?
He fucking probably he was probably playing Boggle one day.
Like that sounds like a gateway computer model, like of a desktop from like 1998 that would be given away on Double Dare. Be like,
it's a science fiction movie. Oh, and the last 10 minutes is like crazy freaking like it's like science fiction action, but it's like worse than like it's worse than it makes Jagged Edge look like Dune. Like that's like how like shitty it is.
Oh god.
Okay.
Yeah, it's bad. And I guess Lumina is just it's a sciencey sounding word or a science fiction-y sounding movie.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Mom, I'm a director.
Congratulations.
What this movie should have been called.
I hope he comments on this video.
Fuck yeah! You know what? I kind of avoided all the like, if he deleted all the shit he put on Letterboxd, but he was going off. He created so many fake accounts, and for some reason, he would like put 5-star reviews on Lumina and then half-star reviews on Longlegs. So like, way to call attention to yourself, attacking like one of the best movies of the year. Like what an absolute fucking jerk off. I hope he does post in this video. I'd love to clout chase. I think we are just shitty enough follower-wise that getting into a flame war with Gino McCoy can get us up to at least 225 subscribers.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go, Gino.
However, a movie that we have heard about, we all saw, is Arcadian, which I must not have hated as much as you guys did, but go ahead, whoever wants to talk about it.
I mean, I probably disliked it the most, honestly.
Yeah.
Like this is another movie that I fell asleep for like sometime in the middle.
Even with these special effects?
Yeah.
Yeah, the clapper was very loud.
Yeah.
It was just I thought it was interesting a little bit in the beginning, but it was honestly just so slow, so boring. And when I was awake for the movie, it was also very, very dark. Like I couldn't see anything that was going on. It was just one of those movies where you're like trying to figure out what is happening. Like even when I feel like the monster, from what I remember, when the monster was on screen, it was just very difficult to figure out what was going on. Nobody was really memorable. Well, I'm not going to spoil it, but I was going to say Nick Cage is not in this movie enough. Like he is gone pretty much in the beginning of the movie, and you're relying on these like kids. And I just didn't think that this was their best movie. So I just really didn't like this movie at all. I won't watch it ever.
Yeah, Nick Cage as the dad gets kind of written off by he's not dead. He's injured, comatose for like 80% of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, so you could go film like 3 other movies. This is Nicolas Cage, and he is like very, very busy man. He was
Crossing was filming at the same
time. Trying to milk Longlegs. He's like, I'm gonna stab me. I'm going to go do an actual good movie. Jaden Martell, man, when he's good, he's so good. But when he's bad, God, I just want to fucking kill him. No offense. The real problem with this movie is I don't know if it's good or not. I could not see nothing. It was shaky and dark. Like I think the creature design was good, but they never would like fully show it. So I was like, I don't know. And Nicolas Cage.
The creatures were like
they're like
hellhounds drawn by a 3-year-old is what they are. Is basically. I mean, and then they look unique.
The camera was so shaky. Yeah. It was making me queasy. I haven't remembered a camera this shaky since Transformers 1. Which God, I hate. God.
Hold on, I know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it. I didn't like it either, but go for it.
Oh my God. If you haven't seen my video on this movie, I did a special edition on this where I talked for 10 minutes straight about all the reasons I hated Beetlejuice. I'm just going to make a condensed version here. There's no question in my mind that Tim Burton is done making good films. He's finished with it. He might still have a few Netflix series in him, and he decided to do a Netflix series in one movie with Beetlejuice. I think there was 7 different side plots in the movie. None of them were interesting. All of them were predictable. You're wasting Justin Theroux, my boy from Leftovers here. I don't appreciate that at all. Like, very obvious characters. The jokes are like either remember me or not funny jokes as a whole. Like, I have forgotten about all of this movie because I truly just had a terrible time with it. I thought the first Beetlejuice was good. I wasn't married to Beetlejuice. I wasn't like, stay away. But God damn, is Michael Keaton old. And like, I get it. Beetlejuice is like this undead guy, but he's aged a lot, and he just didn't have the same, as my people say, chutzpah. He was just lacking a little bit of it. He was like a piece of matzah. He was unleavened. He was not rising at all. He was just there. And then, listen, I love Monica Bellucci, not as much as Tim Burton. That's the only reason she's in the movie. She like disappears, and they're like Tim Burton's like, she's hot. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Sure. So that's a good reason, I guess, to have her in the movie. Then we have, just like, I don't know how old Astrid is, but she's anywhere from 12 to like 24 in this movie. Like, it's a weird, it should have been about Lydia Dietz and the daughter. Should have kept it simple, been about a skeptic with a true believer. But instead, they decide to throw in the other 8 episodes of the Netflix series into this movie, and becomes an overstuffed, not funny mess. Just a terrible, terrible movie.
I want an Oscar campaign for Claymation Jeffrey Jones. Oscar campaign right
now. Oh, yeah, Jeffrey Jones, the child diddler who was written out of the movie, yet they couldn't help but show his face over and over again. Great decision. Great decision.
Abby, you anything to add?
Look.
Yeah, I mean, I also did not like this movie, and it makes me very, very sad, like sadder than Aaron, because Aaron, like he said, he doesn't really care about the original Beetlejuice. I do. I really love the original Beetlejuice movie, and this movie was one of my most anticipated this year, and I was so excited when we sat down to watch this movie, and we were maybe like 5 to 10 minutes in, and I was like, oh no, this is not going well. I don't think it was funny. I don't think any of the humor worked. I don't really even know what the plot of this movie was. There is a plot in there. It's just, there's too many things going on for anything to be cohesive. I think they focused on the wrong. If you couldn't get everybody from the first movie into this one, I think you focused on the wrong ones. I think you certainly could have focused on Gina Davis, Alec Baldwin. They basically just ripped them off. And
not in the movie.
Alec Baldwin has also had some controversy surrounding him, but
I mean, he murdered somebody.
Correct. Yes, there is. So maybe not focus on him too much, but there could. I don't know. Gina Davis. I was really upset. They're just like, oh, they lived here, they're gone. But
didn't they literally say there was a loophole they found?
Yeah, they found a loophole. Like they got to move on.
They said there's a loophole.
Yes, and they're like, they're gone, and then they never get mentioned ever again for the rest of the movie. And I didn't really like that because, again, they chose to focus on the wrong people from the original movie. And then the ones who did come back, they just all annoyed me. They really did. Like, it just did not have the same feel as the original movie, and that really, really made me sad.
I would agree with all that. Moving on, speaking of not funny, sometimes short movies should just stay short movies. Like this movie, the concept of it is a 5-minute movie. It's a swimming pool and it's haunted. It feels like one of those stories in a Stephen King anthology that's like 2 pages long, and it's supposed to be 2 pages long because it's about a haunted fucking swimming pool. God damn it, they try though. They give it their best shot. Wyatt Russell and Kerry Condon give it their best shot, but it's a movie about a haunted swimming pool. So you were dead. You were damned from the start.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I think this is the worst of the Blumhouses. If I had to pick one, they are all like pretty close to being on an even playing field, but I think this one is truly the worst. Because yeah, I think this would have just worked out better, just not being a full length movie. They certainly did try, but there's nothing scary about it. Like the whole family dynamic. I remember in the ending, they were just perfectly fine with sacrificing the husband. Not affected by that at all. I just really, really didn't like this movie.
Yeah. Basically, the highest compliment I can give it is it's better than Exorcist Believer. So there's that.
High praise.
Yeah. And if you know anything about me and how much I hate that movie, yeah, that's about as low as it gets. But yeah, Wyatt Russell, I thought was good. I did think was good in this movie, particularly when he gets taken over by the chlorine or whatever makes him evil.
The Aldehyde.
Yeah, like his like design was like creepy and weird, and I just wish it was a little more of that because like he's a really good actor. He's like he really is, and Kerry Condon is too, but Kerry Condon just didn't try. Wyatt Russell did. No one else did in this movie, and it was just like it's another one where I have a feeling we're going to get a sequel. And one of
no,
I bet we will. There are fans of this movie.
No, there's not.
Yeah, there are fans. I've come across.
Where are they?
I've come across them. And
his last name is Bloom.
Yeah, exactly. And I could see there being another one of these, so maybe it will be a little better. But this was like
it's called Night Dive.
Yeah, this was pure January horror and everything we fear from it. I think it was the first movie we saw in theaters last year.
I think it was.
It might have been.
Yeah, real shame.
Let's talk about probably the worst sophomore jinx we've seen this year. It's Street Trash. Oops, Street Trash. We're talking about, not Street Trash. Don't look up Street Trash.
That's a very different Street Trash.
Street Trash. Ryan Kruger's, I guess, second full length movie, Street Trash. It's also a remake of a beloved cult movie, Street Trash, though the plot is divergent enough that I don't consider it a remake. It's just two movies with the same title, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the original. I really did. I saw it earlier in the year. I thought it was like really sleazy, really gross, and a interesting story that could have been, rebooted. I think, and I really did think it was a great choice in director for Ryan Kruger before I saw the movie. After I saw the movie, I'm starting to question if Ryan Kruger is ever going to make a good movie again. Fried Berry, I really liked. I thought was like the perfect combination of his like boner, weird humor with like that sophomore humor with like really good practical effects, some weird kind of directions that went, but it stayed on track. And the same Barry's in this movie again, but his character in this movie is so weird and has like that Happy Time Murders puppet who pops up once in a while and says nothing funny throughout the movie. Like
this is a horny movie.
Yeah, this movie is really horny.
One-dimensionally horny.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and it's just like the practicals are cool the first time you see them, but they're very repetitive practicals, which was one of my problems with Terrifier 3, honestly. I feel like all the practicals in that movie are kind of the same shtick over and over again. But this movie, it was like those like bubbles that would pop, but they like that was like the only thing they had, and they just kept going back to it. And they had like a weird, just like plot with like a governmental like evil organization, but like I'm just like, this isn't Street Trash. Like what is this? And there's like a weird Jewish character in the movie, and as a Jew, like I did not think he was very funny, and he was just like going through like Reddit theories about Disney movies, which like we've all heard already, so they're not like clever or creative. He just browsed like dark Disney Reddit and found these, and like I was just like, okay.
And the last 10 minutes are like a weird like action movie, and it's shitty action. It's like high school art film action. Like me and my friends are gonna get machine guns from the dollar store and shoot each other, and we're gonna just layer sound effects and flash muzzles over it.
Yeah. And I believe like Bloody Disgusting or something gave this their best horror movie of the year, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
Oh, hang your goddamn heads, Bloody Disgusting. You could do better than this.
It might not have been them. It was one of the Variety or something. One of them was praising.
I think you sent me that article, whatever it was. Somebody did it.
Yes.
Somebody
I'll check while Abby talks here.
Somebody's only seen one horror movie this year, and it's that is.
No, yeah. I mean, I can't really add much more. Like, I agree with the both of you about this movie. I didn't originally get to talk in the episode for this, but I did see it. I haven't seen the original, just bits and pieces, but this just felt very juvenile.
Yeah. And sorry, it was not best. It was listed on Variety's honorable mention for best horror movies of the year.
Insane. All right.
Variety, get your shit together.
Yeah.
We're just trying to play South African movies, They've been through a lot. Let's just throw them a bone with street trash.
Apartheid, all that. Yeah.
After apartheid, we need to respect street trash and district.
Maybe every movie that came out last year is on the honorable mentions list. Maybe they're just like
Woman is on there.
Yeah. Like all these, they don't believe in shortchanging anybody. So maybe that's what happened.
All right, and without further ado, the worst movie that we saw last year, Bloody Axe Wound. Aaron and I went to the theater on a whim because they were just showing it. They were showing it at the Center Valley AMC, a late showing every night of Bloody Axe Wound.
One showing.
Yeah, only one showing a night. How bad could it possibly be? Negan's in it. He wouldn't steer us wrong.
He also produced the movie.
Him and his wife also put their own money into producing this movie. Yes. Goddamn. Where to start? I mean, Abby, you haven't seen it, but do you have anything to add before I throw up the rant thing?
Nope, I don't think so. I won't be watching this movie whenever it
comes out on Shudder in March.
Seriously?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it definitely had the doom doom happen. Hang on, let me just do this right.
Thank you.
Last time we're doing it.
All right, folks. I know you've gotten sick of this guitar riff at this point. I haven't. It's music to my ears. This movie we went to it started at nearly 11 p.m. at night in the middle of the week. And
we love doing that though. Thursday night is dude's night.
Dude's night. Yeah,
dude's night out at the AMC.
When Abby's asleep, the boys go out to play, and this was the movie for the night. Oh my God. So this movie is like 3 different movies jammed into one through the lens of like the queer horror lens, which has been pretty big this year in the last couple of years in horror, and pretty good at that. This movie comes out as gobbledygook. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Like, it is just like, it is one of the worst, if not the worst Shudder movie I can remember watching. Definitely in the last couple of years. Maybe there's some from back in the day. But yeah, out of everything that was hardest to watch, I've been falling in love with Molly Brown on the Dexter Original Sin series, as we all know, playing Depp. I think she's really talented. This movie, wasted. So unlikable. Like, just a terrible character. There's no one to root for in this movie. And like, just the general plot just doesn't really like work. It's just, I don't know, John, take it over.
I would say like first of all, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, hang your head. I hate to say it. Hang your head. Just do us a favor. Cut your losses. Hang your goddamn head. This is embarrassing. After all the great stuff that you've done, all the great things you've contributed to society, you missed. And just take your L. Okay, I don't want to hear from you about it.
Yes.
This movie, people drew comparisons between this movie and Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Fuck all you people. How dare you? How dare you? I understand why you did it, because you're lazy. And it's like, well, in this movie, it's a movie where serial killers that are found in movies are real. We live in a world where they're real, so it's got to be the same movie. No. Also, this movie also is set in New Jersey, which I also find insulting, because like they somehow made New Jersey worse than people think New Jersey is in this movie. And like that, they found multiple ways to insult me, besides being boring as hell. This movie is fucking boring.
So like long for being a 90-minute movie.
Yeah.
So long.
It's 90 minutes. It feels like it's 3 hours long.
Yes.
And it is boring. The lead girl, who is the daughter of like a Jason Voorhees type character, who wants to take up the mantle, I don't know whose niece she is, but please don't come back. Thank you. Yes. This is something you can tell your kids about. I was in a movie once. Please don't come back.
I think I asked you like 4 or 5 times, is this over yet? Like, yes. I was just like, is this done? Can we go? And then I'm like, oh God, 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's like it goes the way you think. It actually does kind of follow. It follows the beats of Behind the Mask if the drummer had cerebral palsy. Yes. That's pretty much how it is. That is how it is. It's an insult to horror movies.
It's so bad.
That's it. That was our list. Hey, this is a good special edition. If you made this far in the video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Make sure you head over here to the Why We Love Horror Letterboxd Challenge. We'd love you to join. We've had a lot of people join this year, which is really cool. So if you haven't joined yet, you still got time. We're not going to start covering the list until next week's episode of Why We Love Horror. We should be covering The Damned, I'm guessing. So that's when we'll start doing our lists live and in living color. Go to the Facebook group at Why We Love Horror. And that's it. Monday versus Thursday, Why We Love Horror. Friday, Why We Love Horror Trivia. That's how it's going to be. New shows dropping soon. Look out for announcements on the Facebook page. Look out for announcements here. I'm JWMaher, and that's the Brooks family plus pets. And we will see you next week on Why We Love Horror.